Biodiversity, a term used to describe the variety of all life forms on Earth, including their habitats and the biological balance created by them in our ecological systems. Biodiversity enhances the productivity of ecosystems where all species, no matter how small or big, play an important role. Large number of plant species ensure a greater variety of crops. Greater species diversity safeguards natural sustainability for all life forms. Also, healthy ecosystems can better endure and recover from a disaster. The planet's biodiversity is under threat, and the main offender is the one who ironically depends on it the most, the human species. Slowing down the biodiversity loss is one of humanity's greatest challenges today. Amid the modern advancements and urbanization, we have neglected the health of our planet by overexploiting the natural resources, ignoring the fact that a healthy planet is important to support the functioning of all life forms.
The space that we occupy on this earth is limited. To make more space for ourselves, as soon as the population increases, we cut down the forests. As soon as we cut down the forests, there's less space for animals to live in the forest. And so that biodiversity automatically goes down with each animal having less space to occupy. That is the way that biodiversity is decreasing.
Biodiversity is extremely important when we talk of large ecosystems, forest or aquatic, it doesn't matter. It is the pivot on which the entire ecosystem is standing.
The growing numbers of humans has deeply altered the environment, and many human activities have been attributed for the degradation and loss of biodiversity and natural resources.
So the human activities in the form of overexploitation, or you do the expansion of agriculture activities to the forest areas, or you can say that habitat fragmentation, without taking care of the biodiversity conservation, particularly the plant diversity conservation, then what happens? Our species is lost.
Agricultural expansion has been a major contributor towards the land use change, with over 1/3 of the land surface being used for cropping and animal husbandry. While the population of our planet continues to grow exponentially, the land mass remains constant. Numerous forests across the globe have been leveled to accommodate the increasing population, also leading to overexploitation of natural resources, disrupting the ecosystems around us and causing tremendous loss to biodiversity.
Forests are being lost at a very rapid pace all over the world. And particularly, these losses are mostly the conversion of forest lands to non-forestry purposes, such as major is agriculture.
The dependency of our increasing population on the forests is considered as a direct cause of deforestation. This includes clearing forests for production of crops like rice, maize, cotton, sugarcane, and catering to the needs of livestock. As the global demand for meat is rising, the quantity of livestock is also increasing to fulfill this demand. Hence, millions of acres of forest covers are cleared to create grazing pastures for these animals. Logging is attributed to be one of the frontline drivers for deforestation. The increased demand for wooden products is leading to increased logging for timber and teak for creation of furniture and other household items. Many smaller trees are chopped off for the production of charcoal, used as fuel by many people. Yet another human activity that is destroying our forest cover is mining. In addition to the loss of forest covers, the poisonous chemicals used in the process of mining degrade the quality of the soil and end up in rivers and water bodies, polluting them and harming the ecosystem of the rivers. Spread across an extensive area of more than 6.5 million square kilometers, it's often referred to as lungs of our planet. The Amazon forest today faces an unprecedented threat to its existence. According to World Wildlife Fund, around 17% of the Amazon rainforest has been lost in the past 50 years, and with the continuing trends of deforestation, 27% of the Amazon will be without trees by 2030.
The figures that are looking straight in our face are quite gory. Nearly 1/5 of the Amazon rainforest has got degraded in the last 15 years, and the rate of degradation has only gone up now.
Experts warn that decades of unsustainable human activities is bringing the Amazon forest near a tipping point. The trees have been cut down for timber. Land has been mined for minerals and valuables, and areas completely cleared off for cattle ranching. India lost about 38.5 thousand hectares of its forest cover between 2019 and 2020, and a decrease of 0.67% in tree cover was recorded across the country. The Aravalli range of India spans 692 kilometers, starting from the western state of Gujarat, running through Rajasthan, Haryana, and terminating in the national capital, Delhi. According to a report by Comptroller and Auditor General of India, CAG, it has been under continuous threat from increasing human population, uncontrolled grazing of cattle, illegal mining, encroachments, unrestricted development, deforestation, and land degradation. Mumbai's RA also raked up the classic development versus environment debate when more than 2,000 trees were officially axed down over a proposed car shed for the Mumbai Metro Rail Corporation in 2019. After citizen protests intensified, India's top court, the Supreme Court, stepped in to save the trees. Another reason attributed to loss of forest covers are the fires caused as a result of climate change and deforestation. The Australian bushfires of 2019 to 2020 are considered to be one of the most devastating and worst disasters encountered by the Australian forest cover and wildlife. The raging bushfires across Australia harmed nearly 143 million mammals, 2.46 billion reptiles, around 180 million birds, and more than 50 million frogs, and burnt about 1.8 million hectares of forest cover.
In India also, we hear about the forest fires in our forested areas, in plains, in mountains. In any kind of forest system, you can find these forest fires, but these are much more damaging in the mountain areas, in the fragile hilly areas, because particularly the coniferous tree, the pine, for example, they have this turpentine, which burns very fast when there are forest fires. So they damage the whole forests at one go.
As per experts, climate change and deforestation as a result of the growing numbers of human population are drying out forests, making them more vulnerable to fires. Biodiversity conservation is not only important for the perfect functioning of our ecosystems, but also for the continuous existence of the human species. Mobius Foundation, a non-profit organization promoting environmental sustainability through sustainable resources, launched Project Sanjeevani towards increasing the green cover in the state of Haryana.
Project Sanjeevani has been taken up to increase the number of trees that human beings plant to increase the oxygen levels as well as to absorb the carbon dioxide. This is a very important portion because we involve the community in planting extra trees.
Launched in 2 phases, the first phase was initiated on the 7th of June 2018, marking the plantation of 5,000 saplings around the villages of Sonipat and Panipat in Haryana.
There are 2 places where we are planting trees. One is in Haryana, where we engage the farming community, the student community and the village community to see that the trees survive in the long run. So far, we have 60% survival rate, which is very good for survival rate amongst the trees. The other place where we are planting trees is in the district of Coorg in Karnataka. We have 120 acres of barren land where we have taken 20 acres to plant endemic trees as well as local trees. Endemic trees are those trees which are endangered species in the Western Ghat area. And we have another place, Napoka, in the Coorg districts where we are planting these trees and involving the community in the survival.
With the success of Phase 1, the second phase of the project was launched on the 8th of April 2019, expanding the reach of the program. Numerous organizations are fighting to save trees. Give Me Trees Trust, a Delhi-based NGO that volunteers in planting trees, has planted more than 20 million trees across the nation in order to increase the green cover in the country. Founded by Swami Prem Parivartan, affectionately known as People Baba, the trust works with only one aim: increasing the nation's green cover.
This project is known as WION Sorkha. 65,000 tree saplings we have planted over here. As you can see, most of them now are above 12 feet, 14 feet. It has taken 3 years of maintenance work over here. This was a completely barren piece of land. It was a landfill area. Now we have 150 species of birds over here, more than 50 species of butterflies. We have 42 species of beetles over here. So this was a beautiful platform. This was a beautiful project where integrated forestry management is being taught. You have water, you have soil. We work on the water, we work on the soil, we work on seeds, we work on saplings, we work on nurseries, and then bringing it all together like a beautiful canvas, like a beautiful painting called the WION Sorkha. I think as far as conserving our biodiversity is concerned, every citizen, every person, every individual of this country and of the planet needs to understand it is their responsibility, because it is our life, it is our survival as a community, as an individual. So we need to do things which are absolutely sustainable.
Human beings have only existed for around 200,000 years in the 4.5 billion years of our planet's existence, yet we have had a greater impact on our planet's health as compared to any other species. We have relentlessly used our natural resources, cut down trees and wiped out forest covers globally, choked our water bodies, and by doing so we are driving many animal and bird species towards extinction.
3 species per hour is being lost now. We are the problem creator. We are responsible for the species extinction. We are pushing many species to the verge of extinction. So it is our responsibility to conserve them.
A report presented by IPBES suggests that an average of almost 25%, or around 1 million species in both the animal and plant kingdom, face a threat to extinction, many within decades, if there's nothing done to reduce the biodiversity loss.
Invasive alien species, the introduced species, those species which are introduced from other countries, to a alien land, say for example lantana in India, it has become a huge problem. Mycenia is another one which is covering almost entire ground story of the forest areas and thus creating huge problem.
Human intrusion in a wildlife or a natural habitat is theoretically a strict no. That should be the attitude.
The rapid human population growth is likely to reduce per capita income growth, which tends to increase poverty, and poverty is linked to poaching. It is a vicious cycle. Some of the species that have now become critically endangered due to poaching and human greed are pangolins, rhinoceroses, tigers, hawksbill turtles, and many more. Tigers have been relentlessly poached for their body parts, which are used for medicinal purposes, display of wealth and power, making ornaments, and their flesh served as exquisite delicacy in many parts of the world. Perhaps the most well-known exploit of illegal poaching is ivory, stolen from rhinoceroses and elephants. The number of elephants in the wild in Africa has fallen by over 86% in the last 30 years, and an estimated 100 elephants are killed by poachers each day. And all this damage for just one small part of their body.
Illegal trade in wildlife is a very major issue. If you want to quote me, the numbers, the magnitude of this trade varies from $7 million to about $23 billion. So that is the kind of range we are talking for this illegal trade. And therefore it becomes very, very important to control this menace.
An unsustainable population has led to overexploitation of natural habitat and reckless consumption of natural resources, challenging the survival of wildlife species.
So now we say that sixth mega extinction event is on, and all these 5 mega extinction events were natural, whether it was because of the climate change or meteorite hit to the earth, but this one, we are the creators. The anthropogenic activities, that these factors, they are creating the sixth mega extinction.
Biodiversity loss has a direct bearing on the rise of zoonotic diseases. Studies suggest that around 60% of the emerging diseases in humans are a result of pathogen spillovers from animals to humans. The consequences are all around us. COVID-19 is a zoonotic disease caused by coronavirus from China.
So this entire story of COVID goes back to what are called as the wet markets in China, where the meat from the wild animals, meat from the domestic animals, presence of people, presence of blood, tissue, hair, feces, everything is there. So you now have a concoction. And that concoction is now triggering the jumping off of the virus from one to the other.
Like many viruses before it, it crossed into humans from animals. There is strong evidence that the virus originated in bats and crossed the species barrier. The pandemic has shown us why humans need to respect biodiversity. Marine biodiversity is a critical aspect of all 3 sustainable development pillars: economic, social, and environmental. Our oceans constitute over 90% of the habitable space on the planet, containing about 250,000 known species and many more to be discovered.
In ocean, so much of toxic waste, chemicals, so much of garbage is being dumped in the oceans around the developing nations. So the developing nations are playing the role of actually they are earning money by allowing big tankers to come from the developed nation so that they can be dumped in their backyards.
Fishing is one of the major drivers for the degradation of marine ecosystems. The world's increasing population has resulted in an unsustainable demand for fish, leading to overfishing and illegal fishing. Overfishing affects the entire marine ecosystems as it creates an imbalance that impacts the food chain when too many fish are taken out of the ocean, leading to loss of other important marine life forms such as sea turtles and the corals.
The oceans, we are overfishing. One species of fish that is decreased is the whales. Now they are slowly increasing again because of the new laws that we are bringing in and the new agreements that we are having with other communities. But as soon as one species decreases, then the entire food chain that is there, that is all upset. Since the balance is upset, the biodiversity once again decreases.
Apart from overfishing, the marine life form is perishing due to the poison of plastic pollution. As per the United Nations, at least 800 marine species are affected by marine debris, with almost 80% of that debris being plastic. Our planet is drowning in plastic pollution, and more humans mean more plastic. Plastic waste is estimated to kill around 1 million seabirds a year. Many dead seabirds have been found with their stomachs full of plastic waste. Oil spill is yet another human activity polluting the oceans and adversely impacting the marine life. Oil spills caused by damaged tankers, leaked pipelines and offshore oil rigs can cause long-term damages to the marine ecosystem, lasting for decades. The most barbaric human activity causing threat to a variety of species of shark is shark finning. Shark fins hold a high monetary value as they are used in a popular dish called the shark fin soup, a delicacy in Chinese culture. Approximately 100 million sharks are brutally tortured to death during the gruesome act of shark finning. After being captured, the fins are chopped off and the sharks are thrown back into the ocean. Still alive and unable to swim, the sharks either drown or bleed to death. It's important to remember that without biodiversity, there's no future for humanity. No one wants to imagine Earth without all the thousands of amazing life forms that make up our ecosystems. However, mass extinction of a variety of species is a very real threat. Sustainable living, sustainable development, and a sustainable population growth are the only ways to combat this threat.